Medical professionals of Reddit, what's the worst sex related injury you've seen at your workplace? Exotic, special ordered venomous spider up the ass. Guy called an ambulance because he wasn't sure if he could put bug bite cream up there too, as the packaging said for external use only. Lost entire transverse section of necrotic bowel lift, but poops in a bag now. Why on earth did he shove a venomous spider up his ass? It must have been something he's seen on the web. Edit, grammar, and thanks for the silver. Mini lava lamp stuck in the rectum. Power cord was sticking out like a tail. Mini lava lamp stuck in the rectum sounds like a Cards Against Humanity card. It is now. Broken penis. Dude's testicles were the size of grapefruits. I assume the internal pudendal artery was pumping blood into them from somewhere. Was an MA then, now in med school. Was a neat injury, but nothing we could do for him in urgent care. He needed surgery for sure. Did see a bottle stuck in a rectum's ray as well. I'm not one to judge. Keep on freaking on, but don't put glass in your ass please. Anyone who's had the misfortune of watching One Man One Jar in the mid 2000s knows better. Rectum? Nearly killed him. Countless cases of stuff stuck up the butt. Dildos, vibrators, cucumbers, toilet bowl brushes. If it's possible to get in the butt, someone has needed it surgically removed. Toilet bowl brush was the most shocking. However, the funniest was reconstructing a giant white, oddly realistic veiny cock on the back table to make sure they had pulled it all out. Edit, pro tip, if you get something stuck up your but don't make up some fantastic story about naked light bulb changes. We know how it got there, you know how it got there. There's no shame in liking butt stuff, just tell us your personal time went awry. A toilet brush? What the honest F? Who doesn't enjoy a good Pablo's porcupine every now and then? Edit, woke up to gold. I used to work weekend night shifts. Had a younger girl come in one weekend. Despite her age, she had a hip replacement and it was dislocated. Put it back in and away she went. Next weekend, she's back again. Same thing. Third weekend in a row and there she is. Finally I ask what she's doing to dislocate her hip and she says her boyfriend keeps bending her leg back to far during sex. I told her to try different positions. Dude stuck a pencil up his urethra. Wood is porous. It got stuck. For a day. He couldn't pee around it, and initially that's what his complaint was, urinary retention. Finally in the exam room, when the doc asked him WTF with the eraser sticking out of his dick, did the guy fess up? He ended up needing surgery. He was also 70-ish. Old enough to know better. Writer's block. Just laughed out loud in the reception area of massage clinic. Uncle-in-law, anesthesiologist, had a patient come in that had poured concrete in his own ass while trying to make a custom dildo. They had to chisel the concrete out of his rectum. Back in medical school I was on a surgery rotation with a classmate. Our first day we got split into groups. By chance, my first case was an appendectomy. By chance, his first case was helping deliver a jewel-encrusted dildo from the rectum of a 250-pound guy. He was at the business end when it crowned and was responsible for catching as the surgeons pushed from above. Crowned. I don't know why that description was so funny, but it was. What a gem of word choice. Janitor heated petroleum jelly and injected it into his dick with a syringe. He was trying to make his dick bigger. He added more. Other janitors saw him and decided to do the same. So turns out with nowhere to go, petroleum jelly forms granulomas under the skin, which get infected. Word was the tip of his dick and the base wouldn't get hard anymore, only the middle. And abscesses formed, resulting in what was described as the dick looking like maggots had bored tunnels through it. Janitor 1 was hospitalized for several weeks. As for Janitor 2, he ended up with several ulcerating wounds in his pelvic region. You could stick a finger in them, they were that big. Apparently injecting your dick with petroleum jelly is fairly common. Some girls have also attempted to inject their boobs, so give themselves implants. It has led to deaths because bits and pieces of it can dislodge and travel to the lungs. Don't do it. Typical, not a medical professional, but I had a friend who was a hospital pharmacist. He said a patient came in with a coffee thermos in his ass. cap first. He got the rest of the thermos out, but the cap stayed. After a couple days he finally decided to go to the hospital because he couldn't get it out. The cap ended up festering bacteria, and he had part of his colon removed. Now that guy's in his 30s with a colostomy bag. Good lord, imagine if you threw a bunch of random objects into a monkey exhibit. How many monkeys would try to put the objects up their ass? Am I wrong to assume none? Is this a human specific behavior? I've seen a crystal clear imprint of a clothing iron to the ass. The thought process was something like, if candle wax equals kinky, ironing your ass equals mega kinky? I don't know. Also a pair of junkies got high and shot heroin in the guy's dick, and we had to fillet the whole thing. He was distraught about the size difference. Gah. The words fillet and penis don't need to be anywhere near each other. She sucked my penis after our nice dinner of fillet fish. Worked at a physical therapy clinic 4 years. 78-year-old man herniated a disc in his neck eating out his girlfriend. He was a long-time patient and friend of the therapist, so we got the whole story. Our patient, P, was old, rich, and single, and loved all the sleazy bits that came with it. One day his 39-year-old girlfriend asked him to return a favor. So P goes down on a woman for the first time ever at age 78. Not really knowing what he was doing, he went at her like a dog drinking water, his words. A few moments later he felt a pop and his arm went numb. He came to us with a nearly useless left arm about 2 days later. My boss was laughing so hard during the eval that I went in the treatment room to check on him. P insisted I stay and hear the whole story. P died a couple months later from something unrelated. I miss that crusty old bastard a lot. Kinda sex related. On Andrew's AFB in the 80s a guy was caught molesting his daughter by his wife. As the cops arrived he sat on his front concrete steps and hammered his junk off. My mom worked on him in the emergency room. He still ended up in jail. Sorry, did I read that right? He got a hammer and smashed his naughty bits in? Not in as much as off. 18-year-old kid had a cheap dildo break way up his ass. Was bleeding from his butt. Needed surgery. In my state you're not legally an adult until 19, so he had to call his mom for consent, and she demanded staying with him through his entire visit. Edit. His butt ate the entire dildo. Probably a solid 7 to 9 inches of plastic. Top 2 inches is what broke off. Also yes, the medical consent rules are screwy. Applies for sexual assault as well, unless the parent was the suspected assailant. Today I learned there are 3 states in the union that have an age of majority higher than 18. When I moved to Nebraska for college, I became a minor again for 2 months. It was odd. Not my story but my mom's. She used to work in the oncology department of a hospital a while back. One day she comes home, sits me down, and says, "Syphilis in the eye. You always make sure your partner is clean. Don't take their word for it. I don't care what you do. Just syphilis in the eye." That's all I needed to hear. Edit. Thanks for the silver kind stranger. I tried to explain to my mom someone liked her advice that much, but she didn't really get it. She is appreciative though. Not my story but my mom's. I'm glad that didn't go the wrong way. Labial hematoma. Couple had sexy times. Then got into a fight. He kicked her in the crotch. This burst a blood vessel in the labia, which made it swell to the size of a large pear. That shit hurts. She used many colorful words to describe what she thought of him. Still glad I'm a girl and don't have to worry about getting kicked in the nuts, but also now a bit more concerned if I ever get kicked in the crotch. My friend works at an in a small rural area in Canada. Apparently this young guy comes in and has a can of Axe body spray stuck in his rectum. He was extremely embarrassed, and his excuse was that he accidentally sat on it. No way you're getting that in on accident. I bet most people can't get that in if they tried. At least one guy tried. Nothing worse than dildos, vibrators and other objects stuck where the sun don't shine. One chap did say that he likes sticking things up his ass, and that's fair enough. But the strange excuses are usually the most entertaining part of it. Worst genital injury was a guy who drilled his scrotum with a cordless drill doing DIY. Don't secure your workpiece between your knees if you want to be sure to keep both testicles. Gentlemen. Paragraph 1 HMM okay. Paragraph 2 wait no.